everyone. Hello, Akwaba to the Akwaba Up podcast. So today we are joined by a very high-profile person, big man, right? And as you know, my name is Akosia Adoma. I'm super excited for the first time in forever. I would say I'm nervous. I'm the nervous person seated here, right? So, like we always do it on the Akwaba Up podcast, our guest would introduce himself and then we get rolling. So, tada, guys. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Akwaba to you. So, sir, please introduce yourself.
My name is Diallo Sumbry, a.k.a. 901, a.k.a. Nanabako Pet. I'm co-signing of Yame Betre, and president and CEO of the Adinkra Group.
Okay, beautiful. You say you're the co-signing of Nyame Betre. Okay. What does it mean to be like Inkosohine? What does that mean?
So it means chief of development.
Oh, okay.
It's not a traditional stool that you take from your matrilineal line.
Okay.
It's something that actually was developed in the 1960s.
Oh, okay.
As a way for Ghanaians who were traveling abroad but who wanted to help back out in their villages. So they created this position of Nkosohene Chief of Development to be a part of the traditional council.
Wow.
So Yame Betre is a small town in the Akuapem North, not far from Koforidua.
Wow, that's really beautiful and very insightful. I'm already learning, guys. I'm already learning. So how has your week been? Wanted to know how your week has been, your day-to-day. Today is Friday, right?
Today is Friday.
Yeah, so
Today is Friday.
How has your week been, basically?
It's been a good week. Every day I got to remember what I did the next day because some days it's a lot happening. But it's been a good week. All my weeks are good. Most of the time it's busy, meetings, phone. I just had a couple who we've been working with who wants to move to Ghana. They think they want to move.
Wow.
So they were here visiting with us for about 10 days.
Wow.
Just kind of going around, checking out the sites.
Wow. Awesome. And then how has this morning been? How's your morning been? Waking up, what's your routine like?
After I wake up?
Yeah, how's your routine like today? Like before coming here, how's your routine like?
Well, we're here at one of our partner locations, Chateau Nana Lemaine. So I actually stay here because I had a Zoom call last night.
Okay.
So a lot of times I'll do Zoom calls for people in the U.S. And that was at 11 p.m. And yesterday was also the first day of the NBA Finals. I'm a basketball fan, so I didn't go to bed till late because I was up watching Boston and Dallas Mavericks. I want Dallas to win, but they lost last night. They got spanked. But it's okay.
It's okay. We move.
Okay. So, wake up. This is what I always say about waking up. The moment you wake up, you know you have another day.
Yeah.
People die in their sleep every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you wake up, what you know is you ain't dying in your sleep. So you continue on your journey to, get done whatever task you have to get done that day.
Awesome. So Diallo, can you share with us how was it like growing up in New Jersey? You're a native of New Jersey, right? Yes. How was it like growing up? How was it like being with your family, the kind of family that you were raised in? Let us know a little bit more about you.
So I have 4 brothers and sisters. I'm the middle child and the youngest boy. We grew up in Trenton, New Jersey. All of us were really mainly raised by my mom. And my mother was big on education. And she was big on African culture, right? So like in the 1960s, it was the same time in Africa where African countries were getting independence. Ghana, 1957.
Yeah.
So in the late 50s, 60s in the U.S., a lot of black people, you got Martin Luther King, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, James Brown. So people were kind of connecting with their roots and their culture. So my mother was the one in my family who decided, hey, I'm gonna change and get an African name.
Wow.
I'm gonna start taking African dance class, and just, I'm gonna wear my hair in braids, put some cowrie shells in it. She was kind of finding herself. So she decided that, okay, we're all, in raising all her children, her and my father, all the children will have African names. So I was born with the name Diallo.
Yeah.
All my brothers and sisters have African names. From the time we were born, we were into West African cultural arts, drumming and dancing. I might have to drum for people one day here in Ghana. Like, I might have to do something for y'all in Ghana one day, because y'all don't know that Diallo. Y'all don't know the Diallo behind the drum. I might have to.
Do you have a specific drum that you're good at using? Like in Ghana,
Yes.
we have like different sets of drum. We have the Etumpam, the Fonton from, etc.
I played those small. I'm learning, but the drum that I play is called Sangba.
Okay.
It's from Mali, Guinea,
Okay.
Senegal.
Okay.
But yeah, so we grew up that way.
Okay.
My mom and my father helped found an African-centered school. So like, I didn't grow up feeling like I didn't know about Africa. I grew up the opposite. I
Okay.
grew up like thinking like Africa was the birthplace of civilization, and that, and I knew that there were so many different kinds of people in Africa. I always knew that the map, the world map, I always knew they was lying. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at the map, you see how small Africa is.
Yeah.
But all of those countries in real life can fit inside Africa.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't grow up with that kind of thing. So a lot of the brilliant African scholarly minds, Dr. John Henrik Clark, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Chancellor Williams, Walter Rodney, like all of these scholars, Sheikh Anta Diop, all of these historians and people who wrote about African history, I grew up learning about it. Drum and dance, went to African Center School, wore African clothes. So I grew up kind of like that.
Beautiful.
And just in that thing.
So what do you think pushed your mom to make that decision?
I need to ask her that. Mom, what pushed you to make that decision? No, I don't know.
Well,
I know my father, rest in peace, is no longer with us, say, I introduced your mother to that. But parents always say all types of stuff. What you got to realize is during that time period, I was born in the early 70s. I ain't going to give my exact year. I was born in the early 70s. So that was maybe 20 years after 1950, 10, 15 years after MLK got killed. So during that time, it was a whole lot of Black power. I'm proud to be Black. That was the way people responded against racism, against segregation, against, the American system that was really trying to hold Black people down. So the way that people responded often was to connect with Africa or to connect with their roots. So I think she was just one of those people who, went that way.
That's really awesome. That's really, really bold. And then growing up again, so you've spoken about how your mom really made sure that you saw Africa in a light that wasn't really common for people that were in the West, right? But aside your mother and aside the people that were raised in a household, which other mentor actually shaped your mindset about Africa when you were growing up?
I had my best friend who lived behind me. Their family was from Liberia. So I was eating cassava leaf early.
Wow.
Right? So when your parents raise you a certain way, the environments that you're in are going to be people who have the same thoughts and beliefs as they do.
Absolutely true.
And Mwalimu Shuja, Baba Shuja, who was one of the founders of the school, Baba Amin, Baba Ajay, and my grandmother and my great aunt too, because sometimes we think that when you don't know, you might think that this idea of being African is something different than what it is, right? But I remember on a trip to Guinea-Conakry some time ago, what I realized is that I went into a house and there was this old lady who demanded that I take her seat. And I was like, no, you older. She's like, no, sit, no. And then my people was like, yo, bro, sit. So I realized that, like, some of the basis of, in my definition, of African people is hospitality.
Yes.
Is respect. Is
Yeah.
family-oriented stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not all of that stuff that people think a lot of times. It's just care for the next human.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, growing up, there was so many people around me. My first drum teacher, Baba Lucas, his wife, Mama Madi Baswaz, who ran the dance company that we were a part of. I mean, I could go on. Like, I grew up around good people.
Well.
Like, I grew up around good people. All the bad stuff I did in my life was because I was hard-headed.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I grew up and I didn't know, didn't have examples. You know, you're young, you're a teenager, you want to do your own thing. So
Beautiful. And then you were saying that you are, when you're introducing yourself, I mean, you mentioned the fact that you are the founder for Adinkra Group, and we wanted to find out what is the Adinkra Group and what do you do? What do you seek to achieve with Adinkra Group?
So, do you know the meaning of Adinkra?
Yes, Adinkra.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay,
Because
so
you are Ghanaian, right?
yes, I'm Ghanaian.
Are you Ashanti?
Yes, I'm not Ashanti. I'm Achim. Yeah,
Achim.
I'm Akan. Yeah,
Okay,
so
but Achim or Akan.
Yeah.
So I can't fully say that you have to know because you're not Ashanti, since Adinkra, I believe, originated from Ashanti. But let's come on.
Okay, so Adinkra is a sense of symbols, right? That depicts like different things. They have like different meanings. I don't know where it's originated from, but the most popular Adinkra symbol that I know is basically Jinyami. Right, we have Jinyami, we have Sankofa. Those are like the two I know,
no
but
problem.
there are like different sets, and they're really beautiful, like beautiful designs that really speak a lot. But as to how they originated, I have no idea.
Okay, so this is what I've learned. So Adinkra, back in the day, you know, everybody didn't always wear kente. There was a time when really it was mainly people of repute, value, chiefs. They wore kente. And when you pass away, you were wrapped in kente. And these Adinkra symbols were put on your kente as they are now. So it's my understanding that Adinkra means the message you take back to God when you die.
Wow.
So back in the day, when chiefs and other people died and they wrapped them in Adinkra, the symbols that were on the cloth that they were wrapped in death communicated the message that they were sending back to God.
Wow.
I don't know if a lot of Ghanaians actually know that. I'm sort of old school historians, but this is from my research. And
I mean, I have no idea what it
dial me in. If I'm wrong, reel me back in. But from what all of my research, that's what I understand.
Yeah.
So when I was trying to come up with a name for a company, what I knew was anything that I did, that I wanted it to be connected to like my life's mission. The work that I do, I wanted it to be meaningful. So the Adinkra Group came from the idea that this company is doing my life's work, right? So at the end of my journey, when the scroll is read and I'm being judged for my list of deeds, everybody will say he lived and worked doing what he loved.
Whoa. That's that. So what services that's itching? I mean, yeah, a very brief argument, but what services that Adinkra Group provide?
Okay, so we started in Washington, D.C. Right now, our main business is travel, tourism, and hospitality industry. And we created something that we call Birthright Journeys. Okay. So Birthright Journeys are helping people of African descent connect to the African continent. Prior to that, our group Fadafina Khan, which Fadafina Khan, the Sound of Africa, is the drum and dance group that I mentioned to you that my brother started. This is our 20th year of Fadafina Khan. So we have our studios in Washington, D.C., where we teach West African cultural arts, the same thing I told you we grew up learning from young. And my brother runs that program. He's a drum teacher. My sister's a dancer. My mother's still a dancer. So we work with ages 2 through adults. In our studios in D.C., and in different schools. So we go into the schools and we take over their music or cultural programs, and then we teach the students drumming, dancing. But in that, you learn history, you learn geography, you learn more about different African cultures, you learn small language. So it's really still an introduction to Africa. So at some point we switched and said, let us actually introduce people to the African continent. And that's kind of how we started to do birthright journeys and bringing people to Africa. Even though my first time in Africa was 1988, it was me going on a trip with my family, my mom.
So where?
Senegal.
Oh, okay.
Senegal.
Okay. Yeah.
Senegal was my first love. In Africa. So that's the main thing that we do. We're also into community development, getting into some real estate through some sub companies. But the Adinkra Group itself is really known for African cultural arts. And what we say is we can bring Africa to you or take you to Africa.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so I mean, prior to now, like you searched Diallo. Obviously, that was the right course of action for me because I'll be meeting with Diallo today. So I go on Google and then I found a lot of things. But one thing that really cut through all the websites that I visited concerning Diallo was your written. Every single website had your written about you on it. So I just wanted to find out, what is year of return? What does it mean?
So in 2019, the year of return was a 400-year celebration and commemoration of the arrival of the first documented enslaved Africans in America. Americans grew up in public school learning that slavery started in 1619. Well, that's when the first slave ship
1619.
arrived.
All right.
400 years later, it's 2019.
Yeah.
So I knew that, a lot of people knew that this 400-year anniversary was coming up. So I happened to be, at that time, just started bringing people to Africa. And I started bringing people to Ghana.
Yeah.
Because my first time in Ghana was only 2014.
Okay.
So prior to that, I've been going to Senegal, Mali, Guinea, other countries, Francophone countries, mainly for West African cultural arts, as I mentioned. So when I came, and Ghana's English speaking.
I was about to ask you, why Ghana though? Because there are like so many other African countries.
Okay, the black star in the flag. That's
Okay.
Marcus Messiah Garvey, right?
All right.
Everybody know Marcus McGarvey, the upright, honorable Marcus McGarvey in the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. His Black Star line and his Back to Africa movement was strong, right? And Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana was influenced by Marcus Garvey, which is where that Black Star came from.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, Ghana itself was the first independent African nation.
Yeah.
Led the way.
Yeah.
Dr. Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah, the Redeemer, he is considered one of the founders of Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
He went to a historically black college and university in Pennsylvania called Lincoln University. He joined a historically black fraternity called Phi Beta Sigma. I ain't gonna fault him for that because I still love Nkrumah. Yeah, I had to, sorry. And at his inauguration and other times, Ghana became a place, a haven for black people at that time, poets, activists, politicians. So there was a time when, around the 1960s, around that time I told you, where all those people, black power, fighting for their rights, they began connecting with Africans who were also fighting for independence.
Yeah.
So it's parallel.
Yeah.
So I think Ghana, because it's a gateway to West Africa, it's English speaking, and Ghana itself has a long history with African Americans specifically and people of the diaspora.
Okay.
Right? And Ghana had made itself that a long time ago. Now, logistically, it's English speaking. A whole lot of flights. You can't get direct flights to every West African country. Some you got to do layovers. Ghana, a whole lot of flights, a whole bunch. So it just was in the position to do it.
Okay.
And I was here to push it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the conversation started, and then I think a big part of it was my sister introduced me to something called HR 1242, which is 400 Years of the African American Experience Act.
Okay.
It was an act signed into law by President Donald Trump on the back of some energy bill. But it basically just referenced 400 years of the African American experience. So on the law to say we have to recognize that African Americans been 400 years. So it was that, the Bible verse.
Okay.
I'm not sure which Bible verse, but it's something that says, God's true people will return home after 400 years. So and then marketing.
Okay.
If I put 400 on your shirt, it looks better, it sounds better than 401.
Absolutely.
400.
398.
398.
Yeah.
No, it's not marketable. 400 is a solid number.
Yeah.
And it was like, so I was able to work with Ghana Tourism Authority for them to come to the U.S. I pitched it to them, hey, guys, come to the U.S. and talk to some black people in America and see if they want to come home.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
There were things that happened before, like people should know that Panafest has been in Ghana since the 70s, that Ghana has already started celebrating Emancipation Day. Excuse me, which is the anniversary of the abolition of slavery in the Caribbean. There have been people who've been living in Ghana for 30, 40 years advocating for citizenship, right to return. It was all of these things that were happening, and I think I happened to come along at a time where I was able to help connect some dots.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And how would you say that this initiative has been beneficial to not just Ghanaians, but people that were seeking to connect to their roots?
Well, I like to say that we did two main things in the scheme of things. One, we shortened the distance to Africa.
How?
Because people that's not here, some people didn't know the difference between a passport and a visa.
Yeah.
People still don't know. Right?
Yeah.
The images in the press, in the media about Africa were always bush. Starving kids with personal flies on a leash. Like crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it was never parties. It was never the development. It was never some of the nicer things. So I think by doing that, it helped to relieve some fear from people in America to say, Africa's a place you can come to. You're not going to get kidnapped. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still a lot of things that people need to know before you come here. It ain't perfect.
Yeah.
By far. It's not perfect. But it helped to open it up for more people to come. So when I say shorten the distance, mentally, if something is far away from you, you're not even going to make the effort to try to get there.
Yeah.
But if mentally, you know you can get there, and someone says, hey, you get a passport, you apply for a visa. As long as your passport is valid for 6 months beyond your expected return date, here's the embassy. Oh, here's some parties. Oh, I went to school with a Ghanaian. We went to school together. My friend, her family's there. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
All of these things help.
Yeah. Shorten
the distance. December in Ghana was already a thing. Like, people need to know African Americans didn't invent that.
Yeah.
Dechi December has been a thing.
Yeah.
Because of second and third generation Ghanaians from the UK, Paris, even America, who always came home for Christmas. We just came and turned it up.
Yeah.
We just came and turned the volume up. So it's like, it's like,
December in Ghana has always been like something to look forward to.
Yes.
And it's way nicer if you have family members who are returning from like the Western country, right? You know that the house is going to be turned upside down. So yeah, absolutely get it.
So I think for all of those reasons, Ghana was the right place. And then none of us know, right? Because at the end of the day, God made it happen. Like, it was the chosen place. We don't know why. But it was the chosen place for it to happen.
But what has been some of the challenges, right? Leading a course like this, definitely, I believe, would come with a few challenges. What are some of the challenges that you've experienced in leading this or spearheading this course?
Well, so if you have an idea about something,
Yeah.
And it's just your idea, and you might have certain passions about it, but it becomes a country initiative. You don't have the control you may want to have to steer things in a certain way.
In a certain way, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether that's by language, whether that's by direction, you can only make some suggestions, make this, that, and the third, especially when you're not getting paid for it and you still got to pay rent, you still got to live. It ain't, it ain't like the government said, yo, man, we love you, here's a contract.
Yeah.
Help us do this. No. So it became a government initiative that now they had to figure out how they want to do it. So, and it was new, right? It wasn't the end of a 4-year plan. We've been working on this for 2 years and now let's roll it out. No.
Yeah.
It happened very quickly.
Wow.
Very, very quickly. And they have been learning on the job. I'm saying I mean the government. They still learning on the job.
Yeah.
So there's always challenges. And I think that one of the biggest challenges right now that's going to have to be figured out is how do we receive people that we've invited home? Right? There's some people who believe, Ghana has invited us home, invited us over for dinner, but I didn't know we had to help cook dinner. You invited me home, but now I got to cut up the onions?
Yeah.
Right? Damn.
Yeah.
I thought I was coming for dinner. I didn't know I had to help cook. So I think there needs to be more done on the governmental side to clarify the invitation.
Okay.
It's confusing to some people.
Okay.
Some people think that, hey, you've been invited here and there's actually a place set up for you. And there's a system and a process that you go to because some people took the invitation very seriously. Like, I want to come, I want to move, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I think some of that has to happen in order for it to sustain itself. But one of the things I also recognize is that most of the challenges that diasporans may have in Ghana, local people have the same challenges. It's not like you're a Ghanaian, grew up in Ghana, living in Ghana, and you don't have the same challenges.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not just broke for you, it's broke for everybody.
Yeah.
So the systems need some approach and some fixing and some, whether it's getting a Ghana card, whether it's getting a passport, whether it's opening a bank account, whether it's getting a residency permit. I mean, all of these things at some point, I mean, I'm living in Ghana with you, so I know we can talk seriously.
Yeah.
So everybody wants something small.
Yeah. Oh.
It has to stop.
Oh.
Nothing will continue and go right
Oh, God. This conversation,
So it's 1,000 middlemen between you and your goal.
Exactly.
Even the police, I ask myself, what are these police stops for? Oh, we'll go there.
Yeah.
Your boys are on the ground.
Yeah. Something
Friday.
small for the boys.
The sun is hot. You're like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's ingrained.
It's
It's
so
a part
deep.
of
It's
society and every day that people don't even realize it. So that's more about living here. But I think that from the tourism side and inviting people to come and experience heritage tourism, there needs to be more work done. We need better public restrooms at all the tourist sites. The roads need to be fixed so people can have a good experience going there. Like, there's so much more that can be done.
Absolutely true.
That, I mean, we can sit here and talk. I can sit here and talk to you all day.
Yeah.
About what can improve, but I'm also one of those people who believe in constant improvement. So even in my own life, every day, I'm trying to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just to piggyback what you said, right? It is actually crazy. I know that most people would quickly want to point hands on the government, like, oh, the government did this, but I feel like it's so true that it's actually ingrained in the most unexpected areas. So far as like schools, right? There are middlemen between you and your dream school, getting a job, or even going to like a tourist site that you wanted to like visit or something, you'd be shocked that you'd have to go through a middleman. It's crazy. And there's electricity issue, and there's the
water issue. Like, I'll tell you one of the biggest things.
Issues.
I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest things that we gotta fix, yo. Ghana. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to Ghana. Anybody watching this interview, it's a lot of people who want to do something here. Building homes, stores, that could really help develop the country. But flat out, we got to stop stealing, like government. If somebody sells the same land 10 times over, lock them up and throw away the key. That was intentional. You can't mistakenly sell the same land 10 times.
Yeah.
So land is a big thing. That one. Number 2. It's so many people here that's just lying. Stop lying. If you agree to do a service, do the service the whole way. Don't do 70% and expect to get paid 100%. Now, I'm talking to somebody who got experience here. I love Ghana. I help a lot. But I'll tell you, Ghana. Hey. And it's not everybody. But it's too many people having too many bad experiences.
Yeah.
Too many. So there are so many people now who not sure if the invitation is real. And there are people who starting to feel like, well, maybe they just wanted my money because you invited me, I came. I'm having some challenges to live here and I can't get the help. Like, however, I always tell people, Ghanaians got the same challenge you got. It's not specific to you. It's not because you're a diaspora.
Yeah.
And it's not because you came here with some money. No. The local person who has saved their money, the mother in the market who has grandmother who saved their money in the market, even she might get duped by somebody on land, and she
there's something she can really do about it.
She speak goddamn fancy, and even they got her.
Yeah.
So it's just the system.
Yeah.
And we have to work on it. But me, I have faith. I have hope that the more of us who throw up our hands and say, abrochier. Right?
Yeah.
I'd rather just go abroad and leave this craziness.
Yeah.
The harder it will be, but the more people who say, I'm there for Ghana, I'm there for Africa.
You know what? You just mentioned something, right? The statistics of Ghanaian youth who are relocating to like the Western country is insane, right? Everybody feels like if I really want to do something for myself, I need to get out of this country. Like you said, the challenges that a diasporan may face when they get here is not peculiar to them. It's crazy the number of indigents that have been duped, right, by maybe getting a land and you get there and you're like the 15th person that this person has sold us land to, right? It's not peculiar to diasporans or anything like that. But now there's a whole new wave of young, brilliant minds, right? Because the people that are moving out of this country, I don't know how the selection is done, but these are wildly intelligent people, right? So we have like the best of our doctors, the best of our nurses, the best top 10%
Coders,
of
CEOs,
university
finance,
graduates and all that, who are being moved from this country in search of greener pastures. What is your take on this current, should I say crisis, this current issue?
Crisis is fine because brain drain is real. See, 400 years ago, when colonists took people out, they reached for the strongest, the brightest, and they took them.
Whoa.
So people forget that in slavery, you needed people who were durable. So you needed people who physically could make the journey, right? It takes a strong person to have a horrible diet, to have a horrible personal hygiene situation, horrible ventilation, horrible treatment. whooped, maybe even cut a finger or hand off and keep going, and then make a 3-month journey over the sea. Like, it takes, I think that a lot of times when people talk about this, right, slavery, this, that, and the third, we talk about it the wrong way. Like, we don't talk about it from a perspective of strength and resilience. And that's what we need to talk about. It like, yo, we made it. They got a door of no return, and they really did everything that they could do to make sure that we never came back. And look, not only we coming back, we fresh, we look good, we smell good, we got money in our pocket, we lit. It's worthy of celebration. I forgot the point. What was we just talking about?
Yeah,
you took me over.
no problem. We're just talking about like the brain drain.
Yes. So it happened then. Now it's happening now voluntarily. Right? If you haven't, read Kwame Nkrumah's book, Neo-Colonialism. It explains it in a way. I'm one of those people who I get cerebral with certain things and I connect it, but read it, because once you've taken this country and put it to a point where it's so hard for that country to recover, then the country's own people will turn their back on it and leave for greener pastures. So you never really recovered. So you got those generations of Ghanaians who was going to London and Britain in the late 60s, even before, and then the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. So the young ones is like, yo, I mean, it's like, I can go to America or London and make $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Sweeping the floor.
Yeah.
$10 an hour, 8 hours a day. That's $80.
Yeah.
That's $400 a week. Right? That's $1,600 a month. At the current CD rate, that's what, 1,600. No, 1,600 is like almost 20,000, 15, 20,000 CDs a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who making 15, 20,000 CDs a month here to sweep a floor?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now,
because $1 is like 15 cities now, so.
Now, the economy won't allow that right now.
Yeah.
I was telling another one of my friends, if you come here with your American mind and decide, oh, I'm paying all my staff American salaries, you will go out of business in 2 months because the demand won't allow for it.
Yeah.
You won't make enough money to pay an American salary.
Yeah.
So you got to follow the market. But people, I don't think there's anything wrong with the people who are leaving for greener pastures. What I would, and I don't think there's even anything wrong with people who go and stay and don't come back. Like, you have your personal choice. But I'm hoping that what the year of return and beyond the return will help do. Companies like the Aquaba app, people who decided to stay and say we're still going to promote and work. What I'm hoping that they do is help people begin to come back and invest.
Yeah.
Not just invest, but because you got some people, they'll go work 20, 30 years, retire as a nurse or doctor, build a home in their village, and then retire in Africa.
Yeah.
They would much rather retire in Africa than America, some of them.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that people do at least bring some of their skills, their information, and their knowledge back to help rebuild. Because if all of the talent is leaving, then what do you have? But what I see happening now all over Africa is this youth movement. We have this young president in Senegal.
Yeah.
We have this young president in Burkina Faso. You saw what the youth just did in Burkina Faso?
Yeah.
They told all of them, if you don't make this man president for the next 5 years, anybody who votes against him means you are against us because of what he's doing for the community.
Yeah.
So you have Mali, you have these young people who are saying it's time for Africa to take control of itself. So that's a good thing. Look at, shouts out to my guys, Kenny and Abdul and the whole Afrofuture team. Went from Afrochella to Afrofuture. They just had an amazing year, end of the year, and they partnered with the BAL, the Africa Basketball League. You look at what's happening with the Africa Basketball League. Shouts out to my other brother, Kweku Bediako, Chocolate. He's a good friend. He just got a contract with the BAL for his new brand, Cacao. Like Denta, you have all of these different people who are pushing and promoting Africa in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And who are being successful.
Yeah.
So that's good, and it helps to show others you can have success here, but it won't be easy. If you can handle it, it won't be easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, at the end of the day, it's also the kind of picture that we are selling to the people outside. Because even if, like you said, you can't like tie someone here, be like, you have to stay here, right? But even if you were to go, it's at the end of the day, the impact that you help to create in your home country, right? So
Yeah.
that is absolutely true. Now, my next question for you would be, we spoke about some of the challenges that you faced with connecting people, the diasporan, right, to their homeland, to their roots here in Ghana. What are some of the results that you have seen that has really made your work worth it? Like, you forget all the challenges that you went through.
I'll tell you, shortly after the year of return, this is 2020, maybe after the pandemic or somewhere at that time, I met a guy. I went to a wedding in Ebri in Botanical Gardens. And this guy came up to me and was like, "Are you Diallo?" And I was like, "Yes, he's a Ghanaian."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yes, that's me." You know, I still got my little hood on, so I had to take 2 steps back, like, who looking for me? But I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Diallo."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I just wanted to say thank you." And I was like, "For what?"
For what?
He was like, "The year of return." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "Because of you, you changed my family's life forever."
How?
He said, the people who have come, I've met so many good people who are doing business, who are buying my art at a high rate. I'm even shipping art to them there, and I'm able to feed and provide for my family in a way that I never have.
Well,
That was a very good feeling. Just because you don't always, like, you know it, but you don't always hear it. You don't always get the stories. So that was one. Another friend of mine, her name is Natasha Howe. She's now Natasha, what's her name? I don't want to say Cheddar. I think Natasha Cheddar, I would say she got married. But she came here with me for the first time in 2019. She came back twice a year maybe. Now she's pretty much living in Ghana. She started the Ghana Home Owners Rental Association. She has a real estate company here. She's doing well. Very, very well.
yeah.
We're here at Chateau Nana Willing.
Yeah.
These are with my partners, Mr.
Beautiful space.
Yes, beautiful space, right?
Yeah.
Chateau Nana Willing is here because of the year of return.
Wow.
Partially.
Wow.
Because my brothers was in Senegal. They weren't in Ghana doing business. We met and it's like, yo, Ghana's popping. So now it's like, okay, let's go build 1,000 rooms in Ghana.
Whoa.
So to see that there are people who believe it, you know, I get calls and a lot of people who, like you said, will do research on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or Google.
Yeah,
and be like,
Google,
yo,
yeah.
And it's interesting. So I think there are a lot of different instances where you see a lot of different things happening. Brother Dre Taylor, he's building some incredible properties in Obamasson, right past Abri. Marvin Walker, Shark Island, out there in Ada, building some incredible things. Viola, who does these hand weave baskets,
Okay.
she's Canadian Ghanaian. My brothers Emmanuel and Felix, they got Africa VC, which is a venture capital firm. Like, I can name
So many people that are doing
Yes.
awesome things
Yes,
here.
yes, yes.
And it can be
Cesso
traced.
Global with the
to
real
the-
estate
yeah.
and their platform. There's so many positive things
Yeah.
that is not that I have a direct hand
Yeah.
in it, but I know that the year of return, beyond the return, this idea and the movement has helped
Okay.
to create a platform for people to stand on.
So in the next 5 years, what's the vision like for Adinkra Group? Also for it's now beyond the return, right?
Beyond the return.
So what's the vision like in the next 5 years? What do we expect to see?
Well, I worked very closely with Ghana Tourism Authority Diaspora Affairs for the year of 2019. I'm not as hands-on with Beyond the Return, although they are still partners. What I will say about that, I think more people need to take personal ownership of the idea of the return. I'm not returning because the government did nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not really asking them to do anything.
To do, yeah.
And I'm not really relying on them to I just want them to do what they're supposed to do. Do your job.
Yeah.
If you're a member of parliament, do your job.
Absolutely.
If you're a vice president, you're a president, do your job. Do your job. And if you do your job, that's all anybody can ask.
Yeah.
Those who go beyond their job,
beautiful. Good for you.
But do your job. I heard this story the other day about $12 million paid for some dam. The contractor gone, the dam ain't, like, stuff like that. Come on, y'all. Like, do your job.
Yeah, just do your job.
Do your job.
Oh,
that's all we need from you.
Good.
But more of us, like Aquaba app, the Adinkra Group, we have to take more ownership of the idea of the return. And be the change you want to see. But for me in the next 5 years, what I hope to see, my project right now that I'm working on is outside of my tourism company, in the next 5 years, I definitely won't be the CEO. So I'm hoping to hire a CEO so I can go on to do some other things.
Okay.
I'm writing 2 books.
Okay.
I'm also working on an academic white paper, so to speak, on historical diasporans and pathways to citizenship, and like how do now that not only do we have second and third generation Africans returning home, but what about the historical diasporans with a 400 to 600 year gap? What are the policies that African countries need to put in place to make it smoother, to make it more inviting for people who want to come home? It's a whole bunch of stuff. But my biggest project right now is in my town of Yamebeshire, where I am in Coastal Human Chief of Development. Is, as a matter of fact, right after this interview, I'm going to meet the people from the municipal department and the city planning. Most of the towns here don't have a plan.
Yeah.
There's not an active master plan
that
says here where the road's going to go, this amount of space should be residential, this amount should be commercial, this amount should be manufacturing. There's a hospital in X number of miles, there's a firehouse in X number of miles. So for the rest of my life, pretty much, I'm pretty sure that I'll be in Yamebeshire, in Akuapem, and I'm hoping that our town can be a model.
Those people are so lucky to have you. Yeah, I mean,
our model needs to be, our town can be a model for sustainable development, right? So, I've taken the land that I bought, it's all on a master plan, and we're building a town to invite families. So I'm looking for families who want to move to Africa, not just 25 to 32-year-old digital nomads who work for tech companies, but families, either retirees or young families. Hey, I want to move to Africa. I want to either homeschool my kids or, help to uplift the school in Yamebeshire, in the community center that we're building. So we're looking for families and retirees who want to move and help us develop a town. So essentially, we're building our own town. And we're doing it in a very intentional way where we don't want to just displace people, right? Anytime you bring a group of people making a lot of money and put them in a place with a group of people making a very little bit of money, the price of everything goes up, and then the original people can't afford it. And that's not what we're trying to do. So we're trying to figure out formulas that will allow us to, number one, control how many people come in, when and how. And then educate and uplift the people in the current space to have a skill set, knowledge and information, so that they can have better jobs and be owners too. Right? There's a saying that says a rising tide raises all ships. So if the tide rises, then everybody on the water got to come up with it, otherwise people drown. So in the next 5 years, I hope that in the next 2 years, that the plan is actually done and out. We've gotten some investors, we've built some more buildings, that more people have come and seen it, and then that model and that plan, I'm able to at least in Akuapem to start with, duplicate it 20 times and find other champions, other diasporans, or even local people who will be a champion. Which means you'll put some of your own money in, you'll put your own time in, you'll put your own effort in, and then you will be responsible for going out to find other people who partner with you. And we're gonna give you the formula, And now you can do that in this town. And then you can do that in this town. And I think that these are some of the ways that Ghana can build itself up and other African countries can build itself up.
Yeah.
So that the future of Africa is owned by Africans, not non-Africans.
Yeah. That's really true. That's absolutely true. So I think not my last question, but we are wrapping up. We're getting there. Not my last question though, but I mean, you're doing so much, and there are other diasporans who have returned to their homeland or their motherland, and you're doing amazingly well. What role do you think diasporans or African Americans or basically Africans living outside of Africa, what role do you think they have to play when it comes to the development of Africa?
Well, as a couple of things, I think, let me take a sip of water for this question.
Yeah.
Hey, if y'all still tuned in, then that means y'all really enjoying this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so many questions. I'm just trying to take some out.
You. If y'all still tuned in, we here. I think one of the first things is understanding and learning. Americans in general, we have this spirit that we are right, we are stronger, we are better, get out of the way. That's the American energy. Yeah. And I think for African Americans coming back, we need to sit back and learn first. I think it's very important that we learn. And I think a little bit of the language as much as possible. Cultural differences, protocol, and just learn the spirit of the place before you go in and say, I'm gonna change something.
Do you know how silly it would be that you come to Ghana and you have so many good intentions, and what would throw everybody off from anything you had to offer is because you started greeting from the right. Like, you should know, like, my mom...
No left hand. Just simple.
Yeah, no left hand. Like, I remember one time this taxi driver refused to take my money because, I mean, from where I was sitting, right, I felt like if I stretched my right hand, I wouldn't get to him. So I was like, oh, no big deal. I could just give with my left hand. The man didn't take my money because it was the most offensive thing that I could do to him. So, I mean, I get your point.
Yeah, so learning that... You don't have to focus on it, but it's important. It's important. For example, there's a culture of New York, there's a culture of Chicago, there's a culture of Miami, there's a culture of North Carolina, that even if I'm moving from DC to North Carolina, I need to learn that culture. Same when you're moving to Africa, no different. Learn the culture. That's one. Two, I think it's, all of us have to do this. Like right now, the way all of us define developed is based on what's happening in America and London.
Yeah.
And we need to ask ourselves, is that what developed is for us? Is that what that means? I mean, I appreciate paved roads, traffic lights that work.
Yeah.
There are some things that's just common sense.
Yeah.
That has to be a part of development.
Yeah. Street lights.
Right. But is the idea of American democracy the best way to govern Africa?
Yeah.
Because I can make a case in Paul Kagame that a conscious dictator may be necessary at times. Somebody might be like, well, did he just say that? Yes. You ain't gonna find not one piece of trash on the ground in Rwanda. Not a single piece. They also had another history that they went through with their genocide that probably helped people relax a little bit. But, I mean, you know, I live for the day when I could go to Lagos and people obey traffic laws. That's not necessarily modeling after the West. That's just safety. So I think that we do have to listen, learn, and not come in and say what we know is best. But I think after that, we have to really figure out how to work with people, right? How to work with people. And then at some point, you got to put your head down. And my uncle used to tell me, this is an American football reference, not soccer. Not real football, because y'all started football. But sometimes you got to put your head down, tuck the ball, and plow your way into the end zone. Mm-hmm. The end zone is when you score. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you can't, you got to work, right? You got to, and it's not going to be easy. And you got to be committed. You know, I personally think that every diaspora, African American, Caribbean American, anybody who that's not an indigenous person, needs a home village.
Yeah.
Like, you need to come and be connected to a home village. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I want you to elaborate on that, actually.
Like, you need to have a place that you call home, and it can't be Osu.
Oh, yeah.
It needs to be Achim.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely, yeah. A whole...
somewhere out on Kumasi.
Yeah,
Kafurgia. It needs to be in Ho.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have a family and a place you know, because every Ghanaian and every indigenous African have a place where their family is from, outside of the city.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you have that, you're grounded more. Not only are you grounded more, but your commitment is a little different, because it becomes your home.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, I got that in several countries.
Yeah.
That's because everywhere I go, I want to be home, and I like home cooking.
Yeah.
I like home cooked food, and I love family, the idea of being with family. So even today, I'll be going to Yami Bishop.
Wow. And isn't it Kwapim?
Yes.
Right? Beautiful. I like to actually see that.
Oh, y'all welcome. Come on out. When we do the grand opening of the community center, you guys should definitely come cover it. Real talk.
We will. All right, sure. So I'm wrapping up the conversation. I mean, I've enjoyed this so much. I have learned so much, and I know that you've also learned a lot, right? So my wrap-up questions, right? Because it could be more than one. Is, which African country have you visited that has impacted you the most?
It's probably going to be Senegal, because it was my first.
Okay.
It was my first, and it was the one that it was the country that made me say Africa's the place for me.
Okay.
More recently, I'm going to say Rwanda, because it helped me see that there's a certain level of cleanliness, peace, and calm that is possible. I could actually say, Nigeria too, because the energy's off the charts, and like, I could probably pick a lot of African countries. So let me just stick with Senegal.
Okay, awesome. And which African country would you be so impressed with their local cuisine? Like, which local cuisine have you tasted
Senegal.
Of all these countries? Which food is that? I can't believe you're not mentioning Banku, but it's okay.
No. I mean, I love Banku, but in Ghana, my favorite has been Contumele forever.
Okay.
And it's the way it's made in Yamebetre at my house, specifically because this palava sauce thing, I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Palava sauce is not Contumele.
Really?
Because palava sauce is palm wine, it's egusi mixed with the leaves.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
You need to come to my...
Really, contemporary. It's done differently, right? All right. Also,
we killing everybody. but like, I love African food. You know, so I mentioned like cassava leaf Liberian style.
Yeah. Because
I'm allergic to nuts, and they don't put nuts in it. Pause. In Sierra Leone, I love krang, which is another leaf.
Okay.
It's like the jute leaf. In Senegal, Chebu Jin, Yassa, Chebu Yap, Dibi, all Senegalese food. In Ghana, okra stew is my favorite. I love my jollof. You know what's recently become my favorite?
What?
Garden egg stew and boiled yam.
It is amazing.
Like, I ate it before, but now it's like a request.
Yeah.
It's like top 3.
Okay.
Like, where I'm going, I'm like, I'm taking garden egg.
Yeah.
I'll have garden eggs
too.
Tozafi. Oh.
Good.
Great. I don't even know why that food is so good.
Yeah, it's
How did
absolutely
it get
good.
so good?
Yeah.
Like, what made it?
Yeah, it's Ghanaian
Hey,
food.
so Zafi,
Yeah, Ghana actually really do
loved-
have good foods. Good foods.
In Nigeria, egusi.
Okay.
Egusi is my favorite food in Nigeria. It's just too damn spicy. Like, it doesn't have to be that hot. I shouldn't eat food and then the top of my head feel like I'm getting a haircut. Yeah, what's going on? So I love, but Ghanaian food is very, very good. The soups, everything. I'm very, very partial to the way food is cooked in Yama Veteran.
Thank you.
When you come, you'll see.
You should try kinky.
I'm not a kinky fan.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm pushing for kinky.
fan.
Like, somebody said it's acquired taste. Like, you just...
Well, because it's fermented.
Yeah, it's fermented.
Like, I can do banku.
Yeah.
Banku hasn't... It's like... Kinke is banku on stage 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
You pull it at stage 3, it's banku.
Yeah.
You go all the way to stage 5, it's kinke.
Yeah, it's kinke.
It's like kombucha, which is this drink that's it's an acquired taste, but I have done it.
Yeah.
But I know Ghanaians love wache. I love wache. Like I mean, we could listen. Don't start talking about food. That's a whole nother podcast. But I love mostly all Ghanaian food. Omotuo, but I can't eat it with groundnut soup because I'm allergic to nuts.
Yeah.
I've never had a fresh coconut. I'm allergic to coconuts and nuts, so.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I was going to suggest roasted corn with some coconut, but that's okay.
Kelly Welling.
But that's okay. Ooh, yeah.
I love Kelly Welling.
Yeah.
I love Kelly
Welling. Ghanaians have super nice food. We have banku with it, but it's true with the kinky issue. It's an acquired taste. You should have been raised eating,
because it's kinky for breakfast. It's like, you want ice kinky? I'm like, ice kinky?
Yeah. We have it mashed with sugar and milk. We have it with hot pepper. We have it with soup. So, I mean, you need to have been raised eating it for it to make sense to you. But I just hope that everybody coming together and just tries it one of these days. And you could sleep the entire day because it's fermented corn. So... Because it's fermented corn. So,
no, but the way they do the tilapia, I had tilapia in a few other places.
Really? Not good?
Not like Ghana.
Thank you. I was about to tear up.
The way they grill the tilapia here, it's just, listen. The banku, the red,
the green,
the tilapia.
Oh, God. All right, thank you all so much. Like Diallo said, if you've been with us from the beginning till now, that means you super enjoyed this conversation. And I know that it wasn't just fun, but it was really insightful. I learned a lot, and I know that you also learned a lot. And thank you for being with us. So Diallo, if someone wants to find you, where would we find you? I'm
on Instagram at @TheReal901. @TheReal901. The Adinkra Group, our website. You can find us through our website. You can find us through Instagram. You can find us through the Adinkra Group on Facebook. All of the various socials. And we are adding I'm going to be adding in the next week or two. I'm going to be adding some experiences that you can book through the Aquaba app. Beautiful. So you'll be able to book some experiences with me directly, and some of my staff and my team through the Aquaba app. So make sure y'all download that and check it out. As soon as you download it and set up your account, search for the Adinkra Group.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. So like I said, my name is Akosia, and I've been here with Diallo. He's taught me so many things. I'm going to brag to my mom. The moment I get home, I'm like, do you know where Adinkra came from? She'll be so lost, right? So thank you so much, and it was awesome having you. Like I said, my name is Akosia Joma, and you can find Aquaba app, aquaba.app on all social media platforms. Catch you again next time. Bye. Peace.
It's so easy. With Nate Tunes. Yeah.
Fefe nefe, neke neke. Fefe nefe, we dey do am neke neke. Fefe nefe, neke neke. Fefe nefe, don't do me neke neke. 23 when I dey ball, oh, no come best my bubble. Nobody knows tomorrow. When you see me, show me some love, oh. I was dreaming for the corner, in TM where better call.